Karen's sneer could curdle milk from a mile away. She waddled across my lawn, her neon pink tracksuit screaming louder than her voice ever could, clutching a can of spray paint like it was her lifeline to relevance. It was a crisp Tuesday evening in our sleepy suburb of Maplewood, where the biggest drama usually involved whose dog barked too loud or who forgot to mow their lawn by HOA standards. My name's Jake, and I'd lived here for 5 years, keeping my head down, paying my dues, and flying my American flag proudly on my porch. That flag wasn't just Fabrice, it was my dad's, a Vietnam vet who'd carried it through hell and back. Every star and stripe held a story, and I'd be damned if I let anyone disrespect it. Karen, our HOA president, had been gunning for me since I moved in. Too many Christmas lights, she said. My mailbox wasn't regulation height. My truck was an eyesore. She'd slap fines on me faster than you could say community standards, her pen scribbling violations with the glee of a kid defacing a library book. But I never thought she'd stoop this low. It started with a letter, slipped under my door like a coward's calling card. Your flag is faded and non-compliant with HOA guidelines. Remove it by Friday, or face a $500 fine. I laughed it off at first. Karen and her clipboard tyranny were a running joke in the neighborhood. But when I didn't take it down, the notes got nastier. Disrespectful to the community aesthetic, one said. A blight on our values, said another. I ignored them. That flag wasn't going anywhere. Tuesday, I came home from work to find my flagpole empty. My heart sank, thinking some punk kid had swiped it. But then I saw me dad's flag, crumpled in the dirt by my mailbox, smeared with red spray, paint spelling out trash. Karen stood a few feet away, shaking her can of paint, her chins wobbling as she muttered about standards. I saw red, but not the kind on my flag. You did this, I shouted, storming out. My voice cracked, raw with disbelief. Karen turned, her eyes narrowing into slits. It's an eyesore, Jake. You're lucky I didn't burn it. This neighborhood deserves better than your rag. My fists clenched, but I held back. She wasn't worth a punch. Instead, I grabbed my phone, hands shaking, and started recording. Say that again, Karen. Tell the world how you desecrated a veteran's flag. Her face twisted into that smug, untouchable grin she always wore at HOA meetings. Go ahead, film me. No one cares about your little sob story. I'm saving this neighborhood from your tacky patriotism. That's when Mrs. Delgado, my neighbor across the street, stepped out. She'd been watering her roses, her phone already in hand, capturing every word. Karen, you've gone too far, she said, her voice trembling but firm. That's not just Jake's flag, it's a symbol. You can't do this. Karen scoffed, waving her off like a fly. Oh, please, Maria. You're all so dramatic. It's just a piece of cloth. She shook the can again, spraying another streak of red across the stars, her laughter sharp and cruel. I felt my blood boil, but I kept the camera steady. This wasn't just about me anymore. It was about every soldier who'd fought under those colors, every family who'd lost someone to keep them flying. Karen didn't get to spit on that and walk away. Then came the sirens. Someone, probably Mrs. Delgado, had called the cops. A patrol car rolled up, and Officer Daniel stepped out, his face unreadable, but his hand resting on his holster. Ma'am, step away from the flag, he said, his voice calm but edged with authority. Karen froze, the can slipping from her meaty fingers. This is my neighborhood, she shrieked, her voice hitting a pitch that could shatter glass. I'm the HOA president. I make the rules here. Not when it comes to federal law, Daniel said, pulling out his notepad. Desecrating a national symbol is a crime, ma'am. You're coming with me. The neighbors were gathering now, drawn by the commotion. Mr. Patel, who ran the corner store, stood with his arms crossed, shaking his head. Little Timmy from 2 houses down peeked from behind his mom, wide-eyed. Karen's face went from red to purple, her mouth opening and closing like a fish out of water. You can't arrest me. I'm protecting property values. Daniels didn't flinch. You've been recorded vandalizing private property and desecrating a national symbol. You're under arrest. He reached for his cuffs, and that's when Karen lost it. She lunged for the flag, trying to rip it to shreds, but I was faster. I grabbed it, clutching it to my chest like a shield. Not today, Karen, I said, my voice low but steady. She swung at me, her acrylic nails grazing my arm, but Daniels was on her in seconds, wrestling her hands behind her back, "You'll regret this," she screamed as he cuffed her. "I'll sue you all. This neighborhood will fall apart without me." The crowd was silent, watching as Daniels led her to the patrol car. Mrs. Delgado kept filming, her hands steady now, capturing every moment of Karen's downfall. I looked down at the flag in my arms, torn and smeared with paint, but still whole, still ours. As the car pulled away, Karen's screams faded into the evening air. The neighbors dispersed, some shaking their heads, others whispering about how they'd always known Karen was unhinged. Mrs. Delgado walked over, her eyes soft with empathy. "I'm sorry, Jake. That flag means something to all of us." I nodded, swallowing the lump in my throat. "It's not just the flag. It's what it stands for. My dad, he'd be proud we didn't let her win." That night, I sat on my porch, the flag folded carefully beside me. It was damaged, sure, but it wasn't defeated. Neither was I. The HOA could find me. Karen could scream her head off, but they couldn't take away what that flag meant. Freedom, sacrifice, unity. The next morning, word spread like wildfire. Karen's arrest was all over local news, her mugshot plastered across every screen, a red-faced, disheveled mess, her smugness replaced by panic. The HOA board called an emergency meeting, and by noon, Karen was out as president. Turns out, her little stunt wasn't her first offense. She'd been skimming HOA funds for years, using them for her gaudy vacations and landscaping projects that never materialized. The feds were looking into her now, and desecration of a national symbol was just the start. I got a new flagpole that week, paid for by a crowdfunding campaign Mrs. Delgado started. Neighbors I'd barely spoken to chipped in, leaving notes about their own family members who'd served. When I raised the new flag, a crisp, vibrant one sent by a veterans group, I didn't do it alone. Half the block showed up, kids waving sparklers, Mr. Patel handing out lemonade. We weren't just raising a flag. We were reclaiming something Karen had tried to tear down. Karen's trial came a month later. She pleaded guilty, hoping for leniency, but the judge wasn't having it. "You didn't just deface a flag," he said, his voice heavy with disgust. "You disrespected every person who's fought for it." She got 6 months in jail, a hefty fine, and a permanent ban from any HOA leadership role. The neighborhood cheered when the verdict came down. I still see her sometimes, skulking around her oversized house, her blinds drawn tight. She doesn't make eye contact anymore, doesn't wave her clipboard or lecture anyone about standards. The neighborhood's quieter now, but not in a bad way. It's the kind of quiet that comes when a bully's finally been put in their place. That flag still flies on my porch, a little weathered but standing tall. Every time I look at it, I think of my dad, of Mrs. Delgado's courage, of the neighbors who stood up when it counted. Karen thought she could control us, break us, make us bow to her petty rules. But she forgot what that flag means. We don't bow. Not to tyrants, not to bullies, not to anyone.